Welcome again here to the Your Little Castle show. The second half hour is going to really, my dad would say, double. You're going to double your knowledge, or at least maybe quadruple your knowledge, especially with regard to estate planning and income planning, because this is something that most people have no handle on and really don't know where to go. And I started looking at the numbers, and like I said, Dad has recently passed to the next level a couple years ago, and so that left it on Mom. And Mom's starting to talk about this now, so maybe we're going to give a referral for Mom to give you a call, especially since she taught you drama at high school, at Afton High School there. But let's get into this a little bit more. We've got to give you the first half hour was great. If you missed the first half hour that aired, this should be on a Friday, a couple weeks in July sometime. Check that out. If that was missed, if you missed that. Go watch it on our YouTube channel. Scott will have a copy of this for his purposes on his website and his YouTube. But the second show now is really going to dig into the nitty gritty, what goes on behind the scenes, how this gets done so that people don't blow. We talked about that first show. People are losing $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 or more just because they didn't plan. It goes to the kids and grandkids and that stuff. So let's dive in here a little bit. Tell me then, and it sounds like you guys have a good handle on the technology side of this too, because you've got integration and digitized and make it all systematic so that when there's a change, you can adapt to the change very quickly. But how has technology changed or affected this business in particular?
It's totally changed our business. So as I said before, we used to do just book trust, the old paper documents, the archaic way to do it. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of great estate planning attorneys in St. Louis, but we have a digitized platform. And the reason we do is because it's easier for the client. See, our process is the client, if they want to choose us, they pay a one-time flat fee for the documents, and they never pay again. People like paying one time and never paying again.
Sure.
You can't really get that with a book trust. Number two, once they pay the one-time flat fee, the client has 100% control. They can log in from their kitchen table, or if they're in Branson or the condo in Florida, and make any change they want to at any time. Can't do that with a book. Most times you got to call the attorney to make a change, right? And the attorney's probably going to charge you in most cases, right?
Right.
Third benefit is, for $95 a year, not per change, not per month.
Right.
One time, $95 a year, they have access to the whole entire team. They can ask for help through the notepad center. They log in and write a question or say, I want this to be this way, change it. We change it. We never send our clients a bill for $250, $500. It's $95 a year, unlimited help. That's unheard of in the estate planning industry. People love our documents. The fourth benefit is we eliminate legislative risks. See, the problem I've seen in estate planning arena is most of the time when a law changes, like if Missouri would pass a law, well, I always ask people with a book trust, if Missouri passes a law that affects your estate plan, how will you know it, Joe? Well, I wouldn't know it. I said, well, yeah, you probably won't know it. But when the attorney calls you, guess who's going to pay for it, Joe? You are, Joe.
Right.
See, you bear all the legislative risks, Joe. That's probably not good. You don't want to do that, do you? See, with our platform, because it's digitized, when a law changes that affects our client's estate plan, we can change it immediately at no cost. We just upload it to the client counsel. We tell the client, go into your trust, hit the update button. You'll see the law right there. The client doesn't have to come into the office. There's no extra charges. Immediately updated. We eliminate legislative risk. You like that?
Yeah, it's just when you start talking about laws that are being changed and the way they impact people, every time you've got something like that that's got to be addressed, you're going to have to call the attorney and say, hey, how do you do this? How often do these changes happen? I guess 2 or 3 times a year, depending on this legislation that's going through often.
And then the problem is this, think of this, and I'm not an attorney, but let's say I was an attorney and I have 1,200 clients and the law changes. Am I going to call 1,200 people next week? It's almost physically impossible.
Right.
That's why a lot of people don't get a call from the attorney. Not because it's attorneys, it's almost impossible. See, with a click of a button, we can add a law. When we have a law change, the owner of the company, Gary Lopsgard, can click a button. We add it to 1,200 trusts within 1 second. It's right there. Technology is a wonderful thing. So those are 4 benefits that a book trust normally cannot afford. The other benefit is this. Funding. We talked about funding, correct? Yeah. Funding is getting your assets in the trust. It's critical. If we use a book trust paper, in most cases, we got to retitle assets. That means somebody's got to write a letter to the bank, to the mortgage company, if you have a mortgage, to the county if your house is paid off, to the DMV, and say, we want to retitle these assets in our trust name, the Scott Garcia Revocable Living Trust. Well, the letter's got to go out. It usually takes 30 days for that to happen. What if the bank writes me back and says, hey, Scott, we know you've established a trust. We got a letter from an attorney that says you want us to retitle the asset. And that's great, Scott. We'll do that. But we don't accept anybody else's paperwork. We actually need our own paperwork, Scott. Here's our paperwork. Take our paperwork with your book, go back down to the bank, get it renotarized, mail it again, and wait another 30 days. See, it takes time with the funding of the paper trust. As I said before, we can fund somebody's trust electronically by assigning the assets of the trust in 1 hour, and we do all the work. We have one person on our staff, that's all they do. So the client has to do nothing, just give us copies of their documents. We can fund a trust in an hour. Typically, it's 4 to 12 weeks, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all. We make sure it happens. That's 5 benefits. The 6th benefit is this. I always ask people in a seminar when they come to the office, what does a book trust cost? Well, I'll get $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. I said, well, that's reasonable, $3,000, but that's not the cost. That's the initial cost. See, when you go to a law firm, my experience has been, you go to a law firm or an attorney, whatever price they quote you, that's the price to start it. That's not the price. I mean, for the only way the law firm could probably tell you the price, you got to tell the attorney the day you're going to die. The day your spouse is going to die. Anybody going to the nursing home, who's going to die first? How many grandkids you're going to have? How many great-grandkids? How many times are you going to change your bank account, change your brokerage account? Are you going to get an inheritance? How many times is Missouri going to pass a law? If you can tell the attorney that, all that stuff now, they can come close, but it ain't $3,000. It might be $20,000. See, the cool thing about our platform, because we only charge a one-time flat fee for the documents, and then it's only $95. No matter what happens, that's the cost. That's the cost. We have cost control. One-time flat fee for the documents, never pay again, then $95 a year. No matter what happens, that's all it's going to cost. So again, I think that's why people like our documents so much. Client control, cost control. They don't got to worry about a law changing, and we can fund their trust. Think about this. If you're a client of mine, Carter, and you buy a car in 3 years, and you got a book trust, you got to take your title down to the DMV. Sit there for an hour, tell the girl what you want. Okay, Carter, we'll take this. I got to sign your certificate of trust. I'm going to mail this to Jeff City. They'll let you know in 30 days, Carter. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you're a client of mine. Scott, I bought a new truck. Carter, email me the title and hit the button to let me in. I can fund your truck in 10 seconds, Carter. And you never have to leave your house. Technology is a wonderful thing. Why are we on this show today? We got to get the word out. Why the radio show? We got to get the word out. People need to know this stuff. We might not be a fit for everybody, but they should know about it.
Absolutely. Well, and you talk about, I recently had a DMV issue. I had to go down. I had somebody wreck my other car. Then they lost the company at the bank, I won't say it gave me the loan, lost my title. So then we waited for that. So we had to get extensions. By then, my new car's title came in, and I had to pay taxes on that. And I'm just trusting, and these gals are very knowledgeable, but they couldn't even keep up with what I was doing there with all of that.
Sure.
And then I found out I ended up paying an extra $1,000 for taxes on the old car that I owed, and then taxes on the new car, and now I've got to get a refund. And that's just that one segment, which is probably close to what you do. But point is, that's not where, this isn't who you want, where they're doing the clerical side of it, but they're not the experts that understand how the pieces fit together.
And you're not busy at all. You have time to do this.
Yeah, and I said I had to go back to the DMV 2 or 3 times to get this done, and it's not fun for anybody. And it still wasn't right.
Yeah, we would eliminate that problem. It wouldn't even happen.
And the numbers you're talking about with what you're talking about, you weren't talking about, and a car would be part of it, but you're talking about $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 investments or $1 million investments, homes, vacation homes, any kind of assets that somebody has.
Well, think about this. If somebody lives in Missouri, they're a resident of Missouri, they got a condo in Florida, and they do no planning or improper planning, their family's going to go through probate in Florida and Missouri. 2 places.
Unless they talk to you to make sure that this isn't.
Right. Right.
Wow, let's keep
314-580-0524, right?
There it is. 314-580-0524. I like that shortened version. That PEIPSTL.com forwards on to the full website. That's the shortened we were talking. I said, you got a long website there? That's good because it's descriptive, but at the same time, you want something shortened to the point, and that's what this gives you the access to right there, everybody. All right, Scott, you guys are on the ball. This is something that everybody should seriously consider because, like my buddy said, ain't none of us getting out of here alive. Make sure you address these. That's just when we got through the first question we had about technology. Tell me a time when you were in a situation or you had a client who was in a situation and they really were in a tough spot, but you helped them, you came through. I can imagine many clients you've done that a few times.
We had a call from one of my clients. My brother is very ill. We just found out he has a will only. He doesn't have an estate plan. Okay. I said, is he a coherent? Oh yeah, he's a coherent. He's not going to be here for the next 30 days. Have him come in. So they brought the gentleman in. We opened up the client console, one-time flat fee from my office. I told the gentleman, I need these copies. I need the copy of your legal description of your property, the first page of your bank account, checking account, your brokerage account, your IRA, life insurance. Can you get it to me today or tomorrow? Yeah, I can get you copies. We got that information. The next day we funded it the same day. The next day when I got it, we funded the trust. We electronically e-signed it. His trust was done in 28 hours. 28 hours, he was done, avoiding probate. He could not have had a prayer with a book trust. If somebody does a book trust, they'll be lucky if they get it in 2 weeks. Right? So that's one way. The other way, I had a gentleman call me during COVID. When COVID broke out, we were all in shock, right? Nobody saw COVID coming, did they?
No.
I get a call from a client. He goes, Scott, I'm in a hospital. I got COVID. I said, what? He goes, they're going to intubate me. I didn't know what intubate was. What's intubate? I'm going to put me, I've got to go on a ventilator. I've got COVID. My daughter's out of town. She's my healthcare power of attorney. I want my son. He's going to be here. He's going to be able to come to the hospital. I want him to be the healthcare power of attorney. I said, get your phone out. He got his phone out. He logged in, changed his healthcare power of attorney from his daughter to his son. If he had a book trust, he'd have no prayer to do that.
Wow.
Documents that are on digitized system are easy to change, and clients love to have the power.
Yeah, well, how often is one of these changes necessary? They don't get done, and it throws a wrench into the whole retirement. Millions of dollars, hundreds, dozens of thousands of dollars wasted.
Think about this. If you're the attorney, I'm the client, and I know it's going to cost me $400 to see you, there's a disincentive for me to want to change something. I'm going to say, you know what, that's not that big. I'll wait till there's 5 changes. Well, then I get stuck in the mud when something happens. See, if you know you can change anything you want to at any time, even if you need help, it's only $95 a year, one time. There's an incentive to make changes, keep it up to date. See, our process lets clients make changes whenever they want to at no additional cost. They never get a bill for $200 or $300. It's $95 once a year. There is nothing like that exists in the country that I know about, except our platform. 314-580-0524. You got to know about this stuff.
Yeah, and we emphasize it. Do reach out to the experts. We don't advocate anybody to say we're sponsoring them, but we do have people on with the information necessary because we want this information to be disseminated. And it's very important that people have this kind of resource. It's just a matter of knowing what you're talking about, having the valuable information in front of you. And when you're talking about what is at stake here, there's a lot going on, and it's not just like, oh no, Bobby's not going to get the swing set, transferred over. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars and many resources that make a difference.
Well, think about this: people spend their whole life, 30 years, paying off their house, right? They spend 35 years building up an IRA. Wouldn't it be worth an hour to make sure it's going to go to where they want it to go, when they want it to go to somebody, under what circumstances? See, if people go through probate is a Latin term. The government gets involved, and there's laws that depict who gets what, how they get it. Nobody wants that to happen, but if you don't do proper planning, remember this, everybody listening to this show right now has an estate plan. They either got a platform like us, which nothing exists like us, or a book trust, or they've got probate. Probate is the default estate plan for people who didn't plan. Everybody's got an estate plan. You want to use public probate or something private? You want to use private? 314-580-0524. They should call just to get the information.
Yes, and again, emphasize the fact that these are things that must be addressed, or else. And how often is there somebody that has a unexpected death? I mean, a guy that got to plan with you 30 days in advance. At least they had 30 days. Some people, they pass. They're gone this afternoon.
Check MSN.com right now. See what happened today.
Yeah, I had somebody I know. I'm fairly close to. They called me because I was close enough, and they said, "Hey, this is what happened." At a retail location, and I had to deliver and say, "Hey, we got to go up and talk." And when we got there, they said, "Yeah," and just like that.
I was doing a seminar 2 weeks ago. I was in California, Sacramento, California. In Sacramento, I go to MSN. Saturday, 2 24-year-old people got married in a church. They're driving from the church to their wedding reception. They never made it. What's the chance of 2 24-year-old people just got married, passing away in a car accident? Tell me the chance of that one.
Wow.
0.000, but it happens.
Sure.
Something happened today. Google MSN, just see what. We don't know what's going to happen. That's why you have to plan.
Yeah. And it can be it's not as if this is something that you're going to put in place that's going to put you out. It's something you have to do anyway, right? So why not do it sooner than later and to have something that you can so easily adapt and make changes to the way you guys have set up with your platform.
And I'll say this too, Carter. When I show people the price, I'm almost embarrassed. People look at the price and go, "There's no way you can do all this for that price. I can't. There's something wrong." I say, "Well, I can raise the price." Oh, no, don't raise it. What I'm saying is, people are going to be very happy with the price. We charge one-time flat because of technology. The price is not the issue, so don't be afraid of that. Calling us is going to cause this. it's less than the average estate plan nationwide. Our one-time flat fee is less than the average estate plan book that is only the starting fee. Right. So again, how do they find out what that number is? 314-580-0524. Give us a call. You might as well find out, right?
Sure. Yeah, and just do some integration there to figure out knowledge, figure out what the options are, because when you really show what you can cover here, part of what you've developed here is to work with integrated trust systems. We've got them up on the wall here. Yes. You see our large screen wall here. I'll put this up for everybody. So tell me about integrated trust systems and why you decided to work with them.
Interesting story. First of all, I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a technology guy. So I get involved. I get a call from this gentleman, Gary Lofsgaard, who started this company, Integrated Trust Systems, back in 1985. He's going through the whole process with me. This is 8 years ago. This is how it works, guys. This is how it works. And the first thing I said to Gary after we went through it, I said, Gary, you're in Nevada. This probably works on the West Coast. But I'm from Missouri, the show me state. There's no way a 72-year-old person that's retired is going to log into a digital trust. It just ain't going to happen, man. I want nothing to do with it. He goes, well, why don't you try it? So I tried it. I did some seminars, and I realized people really liked it. It was different. So this is all we use now. We'll do a book trust if we have to, but this is all we use now. Again, the last 8.5 years, we put in 1,257 people in our platform. We have zero complaints, none, because people like the control. They can change things when they want to. They get help at $95 a year, not $95 an hour, not $95 a month. One time, $95 a year, unlimited help. They can fund the new asset when they get it. They can write letters to their kids and grandkids. They can leave a video to their spouse or their grandkids. Ours is fun. It's actually interactive. It's fun. As opposed to the book trust where people, see on the radio show, it's kind of funny, Carter. Whenever I do the radio show, people will call me and say, I just heard you on the radio. Man, you're talking about a $95 fee. The attorneys kill me. Can I come see you? I can come see you. Yeah, come on Monday. When they bring in the book trust, I ask them one question. You know what the question is? What does your book trust say? Here's what the client says almost every time. I have no idea. I got the page too. There's a bunch of legal stuff. I have no idea. See, ours has all the laws, but every time there's a law, there's a box you can type into your family. This is what I really want to happen. I want the Mickey Mantle baseball card going to my grandson, Timmy. And this goes to my best friend, Joe. And this goes, see, they can do that. They can change their mind on a Tuesday night or Sunday morning. They can make amendments. You can't do that with a book. You can do it with a book, but what if the book gets lost in a tornado or burn in a fire, or they can't find it when you die? See, our documents can't be lost. Your computer can burn. The tornado can take your computer from here to Illinois. You just buy a new computer and log into the encrypted cloud account. Our account is encrypted. We own the server. We have a backup. We have protections there, and we've never been hacked in 40 years. Could it happen? Yeah, but we don't take any Social Security. It's not a big deal. So again, technology is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the book, that is a physical, written down book, and can you imagine making a change to that when you're editing those things? Yeah, you've got to go in, pull out a page, put a new page in, and then file it away, put it back where it goes, and all the time and energy spent with that. Digitizing, I can't believe you guys are the ones that come forward with this to digitize.
And our I didn't want to interrupt you, but our attorneys will tell you, you shouldn't go in your trust and line something out, initial it right in the margin. It's probably not going to hold up. So you got to go to the attorney with a book, right?
Wow.
So you got to call the attorney. If you call the attorney right now, a good attorney, they're probably not going to say, well, Carter, I'm not doing anything. Come on by. They're going to push you off for a week or two, right? Then you got to pay whatever the fee is, and then we're going to make a change. Next week, you got to go back. See, ours, there's nothing like that. You log in and make the change, or go to the notepad and say to our attorney, I want this to be changed to this. We'll change it within 72 hours. You never have to spend any more money. You don't have to leave your house. People love control.
Yes, and the resources you're putting together here are really making it easy for people to make these kinds of changes because, yeah, you've got something. What if somebody bought a new condo?
Right.
They've got somewhere they want to give this to one of the family members, but then somebody that might have been the dedicated who it was going to go to passes. Exactly. And then you've got to make that change, and now you've got a condo going to somebody who's not around anymore.
Exactly.
I can only imagine there's just multiple times where this is something to make it so easily editable, changeable is so key. Instantly. And that's where get into the digital world, everybody. I wrote my first master's thesis. I got a master's degree from Webster called the Internet, and I start talking about DVDs, these new DVDs.
Right.
This is 25 years ago. And one DVD can hold the storage of like 5,000 cabinets, right? All in one place, and then DVDs are hard-coded. But if you had the same storage on a drive, now you can put that information and you can easily edit it right there and make those changes and updates so that you don't end up in a situation where they're going, oh, that was. I think those are his initials, but no, throw it out. Now it's not changed and not allowed to process, and so who doesn't get what they were intended to get. Okay, Tell me, over the years you've been working through this now, obviously, what are some of the challenges you've gone through that you've learned from, that you saw people struggle, or you had to help somebody, or something you learned in your business side of the world?
Yeah, some of the challenges are really not challenges. Probably just people want to know more. How is this secure? How come everybody's not doing this, right? How come? Well, my opinion again, a lot of lawyers won't use our system because they don't get the fees. That's why that's my opinion only.
Right.
So we cut them out. But the point is, the challenges have been the price is too low, and how come everybody's not doing this? How come I've never heard of it before? Well, that's why we're trying to get the word out. I'm trying to get the word out. Radio show, this TV show, things like that. Challenges, really no challenges, just educating the public, right? It's something new, right?
Yeah, well, and again, as technology advances, innovations come about, these are things that people they need to know about, and a lot of times the resources aren't there. I do know that many times industries get stuck because this is the way we've done it for 50, 75, 100, 200 years, as old as our country is here, and now you've got to make those changes and update to keep it.
I just thought of something. I traveled 32 weeks last year. Whenever I go to a new city, like when I went to Sacramento, I got my Avis rental car. I do this every time. Usually at the Avis rental car, or whatever rental car, it's a younger person. I say that because I'm 60. So when I get my paperwork done, they give me the car. I say, oh, can I have a map? And the people go, what? I say, yeah, I want a map. What's a map? Well, a map is a piece of paper. I'm going to unfold it. When I'm driving to my hotel, I'm going to hold it up in the front seat and try to get to my hotel. And they look at me like I'm crazy. They say, no, Scott, when you get to the car, you put in your coordinates in the GPS. The girl tells you just how to get there. I said, oh, okay. See, the reason I bring that up is the book trust is a map. It'll work. It's kind of inconvenient. It's expensive. I might wreck my car going to the hotel because I got the map. Ours is GPS. Everybody uses GPS, right? All this is GPS. It's technology to the benefit of the client, not the law firm. We want to benefit the client, put them in control. That's what ours does. So again, I agree with you, Carter. Everybody needs to know about it. They need to call me, come in, see one of our live events. Let me send you a video, do the quiz. They need to educate themselves. We still might not be a fit, but at least you'll know. So
right. Well, it makes all kinds of sense to me as a matter of the way our country has grown here over the last 15 to 20 years. 25 to 30 years. I mean, I wrote my master's thesis in 1990, started in 94, finished in 98.
Wow.
And just talking about how the technology was going to change. And this is 98, but before then, everything was, I had to still, I'm in college, get whiteout across the paper, right? And wipe that out and I'll retype over it. Long gone by now. Sure. I had a word processor. I didn't have a computer in college. I did use the computers in my junior and senior year in the media lab, but that was the first time. And then I said, I'm going to buy one of these new computers. And ever since then, it's been off to the races. Now you guys are just essentially ahead of the curve, really giving people the opportunity to stay, 100%. To make these easy for people to make these kinds of changes, because these are not changes that should ever be taken lightly.
True.
This isn't like turning in a paper and saying, hey, I did get an A+. I ran into Bob Dixon not too long ago. I saw him out. And I go, did you give everybody an A+ and they just turned in a paper? They said, no, you should see some of the papers we get turned in. You get A+, you knew what you were doing. But I did develop and get into the technology, and we talked about the internet and the way it's going to change the world, and you're a great example here with what you guys have put together. All right, well, then tell me, what is a major objection? If somebody sits down with you for a little bit, what do they object to? What are some of the questions they want to have answered first before they decide that they want to
do you have proof this works? We do have proof it works.
Yes,
Can I talk to some of your clients? How many you want, 10 or 20?
Right.
No problem. People just want to be reassured it works. See, although we're not new, integrated trust systems has been around since 1985. For some people, it's the first time they have seen this. So again, it's the first time they see something. Well, show me some proof. I need some proof of concept. We can show them that. We have 22,000 clients nationwide. So that's not an objection. When they bring that up, we can help them with that along that process by giving them names of clients, letting them call some of our clients, and showing them our better Business Bureau ratings, which show no complaints, either my company or Gary's company, 0.
Very good. Yes, because people do want to know that they've got somebody they can trust, somebody that they can see the history and a system that's been proven. And with over 1,200 clients, putting this in place.
And every client gets my cell phone numbers, not an office number, it's my cell phone. I got calls last Saturday. I get calls on Sunday. Well, we'll take those calls. We want to make sure the client's taken care of.
Okay. Well, and as we finish up here, we've got about 5 minutes left. Tell me, what is it that gives you the most satisfaction with all of this that you get to do to help people?
Somebody comes in, they're worried, they have all these assets, they don't know how to do that. When we get it done, when they drop their shoulders and say, you know what, this has been a great experience. I'm so glad we heard about this. It's so easy, it's so cost effective. I'm so glad we can make these changes from our kitchen table. Whenever you're going to get a bill for $300, when a law changes, you guys will change it for us. We don't even got to know about it. You're not even going to charge us. That's the satisfaction, knowing we really affected somebody to the benefit like nobody else can. Remember this, You can't get this information anywhere else. There's only 2 people in the St. Louis area that have this, myself and Sheldon Novak with STL Financial. He's a partner of mine. His office is in City Place just like mine. People watching the show, you can only get this in our offices. So 314-580-0524. People love this, just like they love GPS.
Yeah,
right?
That's a great analogy, a great example, because how often is it the case that somebody's, I'll never forget when they first, I bought a Mercedes ML320. I'll never forget back, and they said for $2,000 you can have this GPS system that's integrated, and it'll get updated, match. You got to put the disc in there, and it wasn't 6 months later. All that became available for everybody. If you just downloaded it, I think I had Sprint at the time, and I could use that right there on my phone.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it was out on my phone before I used it, because I didn't know about it.
Exactly.
A similar thing here. If you get the opportunity to learn about this, we're trying to help everybody understand this. Now you've really got my attention. I think you're going to be getting a phone call from somebody that we both know.
There you go.
That can talk to you a little bit more about how you can help us and our family, because we want to make sure this is taken care of on our end too. So how do you feel you most contribute to the community? Are there any particular?
I think our educational events, I mean, heck, they speak for themselves. We're in front of 60, 70 people every month. 80% of all people set appointments with us. They love the information. They never heard it before. Again, they can't get this information anywhere else, so they're going to come see us. We also are contributed to the Heroes Network here in St. Louis. Okay. The first responders, we give thousands of dollars to those guys every year.
Is that Charlie Metzler?
Charlie Metzler.
Yeah.
Brian McKenna, all those guys.
Brian, yep.
Yeah, great.
I go to their events too.
I grew up with Brian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we used to hit the gym a little bit.
Okay.
But I know great guys, and we love contributing. That's a great cause. So we just try to help the community any way we can.
Yeah, well, I can just by virtue of doing what you're doing here to help people save the resources they've worked for. This is their time and dedication, 30, 40, 50 year careers, and now they're just putting it all at risk because they didn't sit with somebody for an hour to make sure that this gets taken care of.
Well, the cool thing, Charlie, too, is everybody, like you mentioned, everything about whoever's watching the show, everybody knows where they want their stuff. If I said you're going to pass away tomorrow, everybody could write down where everything goes. See, people procrastinate, though. They put it off. Don't put it off. You guys all know where you want your stuff to go. Let's get it done. We can do it so easily within 1 hour, and then you can go home and put in all the cool stuff you want to put in anytime you want to, change it whenever you want to. A book, not so much.
That's true. That is true. All right, as we finish up here, what do you do for fun in your passive time? Do you get anything?
Sports memorabilia, man.
Okay.
Sit by the pool, travel, Cardinal games. Not as much as you every night, man. You're unbelievable. But yeah, we have fun. I'm married, got a great wife. She's very active. She's a stockbroker.
Okay.
So we talk company stuff sometimes. But no, we go to dinner, Fox Theater, whatever. And it seems to me that something that's also very cool that you get to do. I'm going to show everybody up here as we finish up. Here is the radio show, everybody. So take a look here, because Scott has taken the time to put together a show that's on the Big 550. Big 550, there it is. Garcia. They can go to that, and they can listen to the shows if they click. You can get some of the past shows there. I mean, all of them, it looks like, and really learn and get fully informed with what it is here that people should be paying a lot of attention to, because how often is this the case where people put this off and then they end up. Once in a while, I say something important too. Once in a while. All of what we've seen here, very important, and I would emphasize people do spend the time to get involved here. Call Scott, get a hold of his team, and hit them up. PEIPSTL.com, 314-580-0524. Giddy up.